It is the US election, and in this episode of the Savvy Social Podcast, I am going to talk briefly about it. We're not going to spend a lot of time today on this because I feel like there's a lot of emotions happening out in the world right now. But for those of you who are new, hello and welcome to the Savvy Social Podcast. This is a show dedicated to helping passion-led entrepreneurs and business owners just like you learn how to use social media as a tool to grow your business. I'm your host, ANDREA Jones, and I'm fiercely committed to helping you understand both the how and the why of social media marketing so that you can create connection, build community, and make your difference in the world. Our show is brought to you by Fan Booster by Traject, which is the world's most complete social media management tool, and it's my tool of choice when it comes to things like managing, scheduling, and especially reporting on social media. Try them out for yourself for free. I'll put the link in the show notes or in the description of the video, depending on where you're tuning in from. All right, we're going to talk about social media during an election, but here's the thing. I actually like social media. I don't know, you probably knew that based on the fact that I run a social media company and this is a social media podcast, but I love social media. I love the opportunity that it provides for connecting with people who I would have never met. I just find that really exciting. For those of you who are new, I met my husband on YouTube. It sounds insane. And every time I tell this story, the older I get, I go, we were crazy, but we were young and in love. And I say this like this happened ages ago. Honestly, this was 7 years ago now. I met him on YouTube. We were both creating little videos. He was doing like these comedy rant videos. I was doing these like videos about my life and observations in the world around me. And we connected, we collaborated on a video, and we just kept talking, and it kind of went from there. And that to me is just such a great example of the power of social media. It's kind of like this huge opportunity to meet people we would have never met before. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. He lived in Toronto, Canada, Ontario. So literally over 1,000 miles away. And we connected because of the power of the internet. So I love social media. I do. However, this social media area is getting nasty, and it's because of the election, and it's going to be this way over the next few months. It's going to feel gross and grimy, and even if you don't live in the U.S., the U.S. election and the U.S. politics seems to permeate every area of the internet. I remember the 2016 election and how even though I had lived in Canada for 2 years at that point, the internet was just filled with U.S. politics, and it was quite nasty, honestly, with the clients that I was working with at the time. Honestly, just seeing all of the divisiveness, the belligerence, the racism, it was gross. And it happened, starting about October, really picked up and then went all the way through to December, I remember, and even into January with the inauguration. So it's not going anywhere. And if I'm going to be completely honest, it's still happening today, right now. So as a business owner, what do we do? What do we do about this crazy world that we live in that's so politically charged and divisive, and you're either for us or against us? So based on what I've experienced so far, I don't think this is going anywhere. In fact, it's going to get worse. Unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse. And we as business owners and content creators have to decide what to do about it, because a lot of us make our living from social media, especially because of 2020 and the pandemic. A lot of us connect and use social media as our primary marketing tool. So what does that mean? How, as business owners, do we go through this? Well, I think that we need to go into it with a full understanding of what's going on. I don't think we can deny it. I don't think we can ignore it. I don't think we can turn off our computer and pretend that it's not happening. I think we have to move forward anyways. So I think this means we have to deal with the emotions happening on social media. We have to prepare ourselves for consuming other people's emotions on a daily basis. I don't know if you've noticed this with Facebook ads lately, but if you run a Facebook ad, you get this type of person who's angry that your ad is now in their Facebook feed, and they will share their thoughts about it. It seems kind of silly to me personally, but those people are out there, and then suddenly a few bad comments later, you're feeling like you're the worst person in the world. And that's just kind of the nature of things. So we've got to prepare ourselves emotionally for this process. And so what I've done is I have created some mindfulness meditations. They're bite-sized, 5 to 10 minutes, over on my second podcast. It's called Social Media Unwind. You can find information at socialmediaunwind.com or just Google Social Media Unwind. It should come up. And I am, at the time of recording this, creating one specifically for the anxiety around the election. So you need to toughen yourself up and also give yourself a little bit more grace, right? So if you are going into a situation where it was emotionally draining, give yourself 10 minutes to process that instead of ignoring it, right? Go through your emotions. And then set up better boundaries. So here's the thing about boundaries. We allow social media to dictate our lives sometimes. We get taken away by a notification. We get pulled away because we open the app and 2 hours later, we're still scrolling. And so you need to tighten up your boundaries on social media. Turn off your notifications. Give yourself time and space to check in and then live the rest of your life. Don't be interrupted by a nasty Instagram comment while you're eating dinner. Don't let someone commenting on your Facebook ad ruin your whole day. Turn those notifications off. And if it's getting really bad, outsource. I will say from my personal experience this summer during the Black Lives Matter movement, there was quite a few direct messages that I got that left me feeling very uncomfortable. And so I got my team involved. I said to my assistant, I'm not looking at my messages. If there's something I need to respond to, you let me know. Otherwise, you respond. And we came up with some kind of a little swipe file for her so that she had a few responses that she could send to people. And now I don't have to stress about it. Somebody else's problem. And even with the rest of my team and what we're doing with our clients during this time is we set aside boundaries so we're not tuned in constantly, and we take breaks. And we may even do shifts. We did this with our client in 2016 who had a very politically central message, and we took shifts. You do one day, I'll do the next so that we could have breaks. Because this nastiness isn't going anywhere. We just have to learn how to deal with it as businesses operating in 2020 using social media as a tool to grow our business. So could you delete Instagram from your phone and wait for it to be over? Maybe. But we all know you're going to just re-download it again. And then we all know as soon as you do, you're going to be back to being pulled away by the notifications just like you were before. So instead of deleting the apps and ignoring the problems, face them head on. Build those boundaries that support your business. Create the structure to have the time that you're spending on social media and then time that you're not. Be intentional about your reasons for even being on social media in the first place. And know that this is the long game. So buckle up. Are you ready? I am. If you need more support, definitely check out the Social Media Unwind for our meditation on feeling anxiety around this election. Also, check out the Savvy Social School. We are doing a cleanse, a detox in December to prepare for 2021 and everything that it's going to bring. More on that in upcoming episodes. If you're in the school, stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Next week on episode 123, I am talking with Lynn Godler. Oh, sorry, Lynn. I always say her last name incorrectly, but I'm really excited because she is a brilliant PR strategist and a member of the Savvy Social School, and she's sitting down with me to talk about PR and social media and how it all works together. She also has an incredibly fascinating story. We talk a lot about her history in journalism, so definitely stay tuned next week as we dive into episode 123 with Lynn. And hey, if you love the show, give us a thumbs up, rate, review, like. It just really depends on where you're watching or listening to this. But anything that you can do to support the show is helpful. Share it with a friend who you may think, who may find this particular episode helpful, especially because there's a lot of emotions around the election. Share it with a friend because we continue to be in the top 100 marketing podcasts in the US, Canada, Australia, the UK, and I absolutely love it, especially being a woman of color and ranking this high on the podcasting charts. It just warms my heart to be able to be up here hanging out with the big dog. So thank you guys so much for your support and for listening to the show. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.